Hello and welcome to ARK Survival Evolved. We're on the Extinction map and today we're going to be taking on the Desert Titan. Now we've already defeated this, in fact I've done it a few times off camera since to get the trophies. But this time around we're actually going to try and tame it. Like various strategies around, but I'm just starting actually inside the cave just to speed things up a bit because based on my experience so far this thing takes it takes a long time and you need a lot of patience. Yeah, there's all sorts of different strategies you can use, and the one that I've found works, at least for me anyway, is to use the Quetzal. So I've been breeding up some Quetzals. I think the easiest place to probably get them is actually from the island. I mean, I've seen some around, going around on the Extinction map, but yeah, I think it's easier probably to get them on the island. I mean, I'd already done the island, so that was a heck of a lot easier for me anyway. I'm just going to get out the way of this thing, because one of my problems actually is the fact that I built my base here, right in the path of the actual Titan. So I've had to since build myself a a little mini base right up here out of the way, because if I die, and going by past experience, that's like a lot of times, I've got no chance, because basically as soon as I respawn, what I find is that I'll get targeted by the lightning, and that's a real pain. Right, so let's just head over here, because I've got a lot of Quetzals over here. It's mostly to save time more than anything. They've been tamed up, bred up, and they've been given, basically they've just been given mutations in health. So I've got my base here just in case I do respawn. Basic tech armor. I'm not going to do anything particularly fancy. It's the same process as the other Titans, where you've got to basically destroy the nodes. There's 3 nodes to take on, and the last one's always the hardest one. The problem with a Titan though is it's an aerial creature, so I feel really limited in my options. I mean, I did try going in with a Tapejara, for instance, because I thought, oh, I can, shoot that actual node from a distance. But the trouble is, I found that the Tapejara was just taken out too quickly. It was taking too much damage. I couldn't get out of the way of the flock or the actual the lightning. It just wasn't effective at all for me. So then I tried a slightly different approach, where I actually tried the actual snow owl. And I could actually get the node to the node and what have you, but again, it was, if I die, the problem then is that the owl was just taking too much damage. So you can see here, I mean, I'm getting pretty close now, and we're already taking hits. What I've got to do, it's quite unique with this one, is you've got to get up close to the actual node itself, because you've actually, to expose the node, you need to actually take it out with lightning. It's got to be struck by lightning. Now, so there you go. So the node's been exposed, and I'm kind of stuck in there, unfortunately. Right, okay, straight away I need to get out of here. So that's one thing I've since learned. I can't hang around, and what I should have done is, come here you. I should have put that thing on follow. The lightning's a real problem. So what I've learned since is that I can go in there and get that node exposed, but what I've got to do is I've really got to keep out of the way of the lightning. This Quetzal can take a lot of damage from the lightning. I mean, I've got 4 just to speed things up. The idea is, once this runs out of health, I'll just go and pick up another one. If it gets to the point where, I'm still going, I'll start healing them up with the snow owls. But they do take quite a bit of damage. It's got a lot of health, it's got a good armor saddle, and it's got I mean, it's got full imprinting, so it's got a bit of resistance. I have actually tried going in with 2 Quetzals to give them a better chance. So like, if you've got 2 Quetzals, and they're made boosted, they get an extra resistance buff. Right, so I'm just going to try and park it here if I can. Because if I get hit, that node down there will get hit. Right, now I've been knocked off, so that's not too bad in that circumstance. I really want to hang around here for as long as I can. And I've gone too far, unfortunately, I think. Oh, that's okay. One thing I've noticed is if that thing gets if this thing gets struck by lightning, once the node's exposed, it can actually close up again. So yeah, see there, the node's now closed up. So there's a lot in the timing I'm finding. Now I do get knocked off by the flock, and that's the reason I've got that big saddle here, the platform saddle. I seem to prefer being on that, because if I get knocked off, I've got a better chance of getting back on. Now I need to target myself over that node, because I want that node to be hit by lightning. Can I get back on? Yeah. I don't want to be in a situation where I get hit by lightning while I'm not on the actual bird. Otherwise I'll take a lot of damage. If I'm too far away from the bird, I'll just leave the area. That's the safest thing I've found, is just get out of the way. If I come back to this bird while it's electrified, or I'm getting electrified, I've got no chance. I'll probably get electrocuted myself. So there's sometimes it's I mean, it's just basically it's just a timing thing. I've got to be able to hover over this thing for as long as I possibly can, just to keep attracting the lightning. And then it's just a matter of time before eventually enough hits will take that node out. There are other strategies. I mean, like, okay, I'm back to being targeted by the flock again. See if that's done anything. Okay, so it's still there, the node's still there, so it's quite difficult. I'm finding if this thing's moving, you know, it's very difficult to like hover over the area, I'm finding. But it's just a game of patience more than anything. Right, okay, we're still in. Oh, no, we're not. Okay. I've got to get away, right. If you've got I think you need like a good skills to be able to control this armor. I'm really struggling with the armor, to be honest. I'm just all over the place with the armor, but come here. If you can get if you're good with the armor, then you'll find it a lot easier than I am. Most of my time's actually spent trying to get back on the bloomin' Quetzal, quite frankly, but worst case scenario, yeah, I'll get killed, so I've got plenty of armor down there to keep things going. So I'm just double checking. Right, we're on the right. So my health's okay. Your health, you're taking a bit of damage. But it's just a rinse and repeat job of going through this, of trying to expose the node, then trying to get it hit by lightning, and then trying to get back on the actual Quetzal before the lightning strikes you, because you just don't want to get hit by lightning. You've got no chance if you get hit by lightning. Now, once the actual first node's been taken out, I mean, you can tell there's, like there, you can see all that. Oh, it's moved. Right, I'm just going to go away because I need to... Sometimes that happens where it'll roll over. Right, I need to get out of the way because I've got lightning on me, and I can't afford a lightning strike. Come here, come here, come here, come here. Oh, I've got to get out of the way. I can't get on that. I can't get on that thing while the while it's going to be taking lightning. But sometimes it only takes like a few lightning hits, and then the that node will be gone. And once you take out the first node, it then starts. It brings in an extra sort of like attack, which is that big tail. So you've got to be careful about that, because you can get a lot of damage from that. As long as you're on the Quetzal, you're alright. But yeah, I'm just going to basically keep repeating this, because it's got one node on the left wing, one node on the right wing, and then it's got that one down there, which is kind of where the tail connects to the body. And you can tell that the node's gone, because you can see like the corruption there. That'll actually all disappear. So I'm just going to keep repeating the process. It's annoying that when you get the helmet. I'm just going to keep repeating this. See, the trouble is I can't keep up with it because they've kind of like nerfed the. I've got to get out of the way because they nerfed these Quetzals. It's really struggling to keep up with the speed of turning that's going on, unfortunately. So it's, oh, I've got to get away from that thing. I can't afford to be anywhere near that when it gets struck by lightning. I mean, I have tried using 2 Quetzals because if they're made boosted, they get like an extra resistance. But the trouble is that the other one kept like getting in the way, unfortunately, and it takes a lot of damage itself. The second one. I mean, while I'm riding this, it's got like 30% damage resistance, so it can withstand quite a lot of damage from the lightning. But the one that was in tow, the problem that one had was it was just taking a lot of damage. If I get killed and the Quetzal doesn't like follow, it has a problem where it starts taking a lot more damage because it's lost its bonus as well. So you really want to get back as quickly as possible. So I've got a snow owl down there to basically, you know, if it does go pear-shaped, I'll get back on the snow owl, and then what we'll do is we'll oh, yeah. Trouble is, right. That's exposed. I mean, if you want, you can actually hit that node with your Quetzal if you want. There's nothing stopping you doing that. But I think most of the damage is coming from the lightning strikes, to be honest. But I've just got to be very, very careful of that flock. So I'm just going to keep repeating this. I'll bring you back once I've made a bit more progress. So there you go. Right, so let's see if I can land this time, because it's last time I was landing on it, but it's not letting me do that now. But it's just rinse and repeat. I've got to target this wing now. Or this, yeah, I've got to target the right wing now. And I've just got to try and stay around here for as long as I possibly can. Oh, that was lucky. Let's see if I can get that one then. Ooh, 673. So my health, actually, that's why I brought the medical brews, because I'm taking damage as well. Yeah, it's frustrating that. They're annoying. It's an interesting mechanic they introduce, but they're blooming annoying, I'll give it that. So you've just got to be basically try to be patient, but it's kind of frustrating. Oh no, that's interesting, so it has landed, and I didn't even ask it to. So now Alright, I'm going to get out of the way here, because this is just going weird now. And I've been targeted by the lightning. Right, so where's the Quetzal gone? Because sometimes it'll be down. Oh, there you are. Sometimes the Quetzal will actually land on the ground, so that's something you've got to bear in mind. But as long as it's got its health, then I'm fine with it. So I'm just going to keep targeting this the right-hand wing, or at least what is the right to me, and then I'll bring you back. Oh, I've got to get away. So yeah, so fortunately this time I'm just pretty much just camped out on the actual wing. It's not complaining much, so I just need to keep on here for as long as I possibly can. And then that node there will keep taking damage. Because I'm pretty sure if it gets hit somewhere else on the wing, on its body, those lightning strikes end up closing the corrupted node. Kind of surprised that the tail isn't taking pot shots at me, to be honest. Last time I did this, as soon as the first wing was sorted, the next one, you know, that's when, oh, there you go. So there's a tail swipe. It's just interesting as I just find that if I'm so like sitting on the actual dino, the Titan, because I'm literally, you can see there's like a gravity icon up in the top right telling we're under the influence of its gravity. I just find for some strange reason I get less issues if I can pull this off. It just depends if it's going to suddenly like do a barrel roll. If it does, I've then got to like hit the space bar, because otherwise I'm going to be stuck on the gravity for a while and I could take quite a bit of damage. I'm just wondering if that's actually hitting it, because it's not closing, but it's taking a bit of a while. One thing to bear in mind, there you go. Has that done it? Yep, that's taken the second node out. One thing to bear in mind, it does have this weird effect sometimes where it'll actually fly through the, or like very, very close to the beacon. So that's something you've got to bear in mind. Right, I'm just going to get away here. So right, we've taken out two. I didn't get away quick enough. I took my hand off the key too soon. Right, I'm going to have to go back and recover my body. And I'm going to have to go and get the bird back. As long as it's out there, it's taking a lot of damage. So, right, let's go see. It's a bit tricky because the problem is you've got limited time if you get struck by lightning. One of the reasons I was camping on out on that actual dino, I think it's got like a bank of about 6. Yeah, I think it can do like 6 lightning strikes at any given time, and then it's got to wait for like a cooldown. Oh, so there's the there's the Quetzal, and it's probably hovering over my my body. Right, I need to get rid of this. Right, so there's my body over there. Right, I'll just go and get the Quetzal to follow me, because I don't want it. If it's stuck up there on its own and it's taking lightning damage, it's going to have a lot of problems. It's going to take a lot more damage. That's not in my interests. Right, hopefully I can go and get this body back quickly enough. I mean, the sort of armour I'm using is pretty basic, to be honest. I could have let all this go, quite frankly. It's all the primitive stuff, so I don't care if I lose it. But I just want to get far enough away now so I'm not going to get targeted. But yeah, for some strange reason, I tend to find, at least what I found anyway, while I turned it up last time, was that if I can literally land on that and just sit on the top of the actual corrupted node, I tend to have more success, because the Quetzal, it is pretty slow. I mean, I've got my finger on like the accelerator basically. It's taking ages for me to get anywhere, and when this thing's turning, when it's moving, it just takes so long to actually keep up with the actual with a Titan. I just can't keep up with its maneuvering, so there is that risk. Right, so it's either going to do a spin or it might flip its tail or something, so I'll just keep an eye on that. Right, I've been forced off, so we're going to do a barrel roll. Right. Yeah, that was a bit weird, that, because it went into a... Yeah, I couldn't get away. By the time the lightning struck, I was knocked off again. Okay, so now I've got the node open, and I want to just basically camp here for as long as I possibly can. The more you know, both me and the actual Quetzal get targeted, the more damage this node's going to take. And that's my plan, because I know it's got like 6 potential attacks banked up. It can do about 6, and then it's got to go through like a cooldown process. But I just want to stay here for as long as I possibly can. Hopefully those things will just ignore me. I don't know why, but... Okay, so that was alright. I mean, I'm keeping my eye on the tail. Right, okay, so straight up it's gone into a barrel roll, and I start having problems here because of the gravity. I'm also being targeted, I've also got the lightning, so I'm just going to get as far away as I can. So hopefully we won't get another tail swipe. If it does suddenly like kick up a fuss and it's my Quetzal here takes a lot of damage, then I'll just go and swap it out. You don't need lots of them. I mean, you don't need lots of Quetzals. You can... Tell you what, let's get out of here. I need to get out of here because of the lightning. Alright, let's just camp out here then. Yep, so I'm literally right on top of the node. It is a bit harder to see in the dark, I must admit. But I'm just kind of keeping my fingers crossed that this thing's going to keep throwing out enough lightning strikes while I'm here to cause enough damage. Okay, so I haven't been knocked off, so that's a good thing. Right, so we've got the node open again. So we're just waiting for more lightning strikes. So we need still more lightning strikes for this node to get closed off. As far as I can, the node's still, it's still there. So I'm literally just camping on top of it. I mean, I think there's, what I've found is this seems to be the easiest strategy. The only trouble is I get these really quiet times now. Ah, there you go. Ah, there, look. Has it gone? Yeah, I get this really, really quiet time. Nothing's happening. So I'm just gonna get off. There you go. One Quetzal now, one Desert Titan now tamed. Brilliant. These Quetzals, they take quite a lot of damage. So the best strategy is to recover your Quetzal as quickly as possible. You've got quite a while to recover your body. I mean, if you look at what I've got on me, I mean, my armor just about lasted. That's one set of armor and just about lasted. And I died 3 times in the process. So that's pretty good, actually, I think. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video because I'm going to have a check of this one's stats. Actually, I can land on top of it, can't I? You stay there, buddy. I'm going to land on top of it here. I want to see if it's any different, because it's got... I haven't done anything. I haven't done any of that damage. Now, I know what's going to happen. It'll get to its maximum health of 350,000. Once I restart the game, that's all going to be gone. Because the last time I ended up with, I think it was about 250,000 in maximum health. Once I restart the game. And I think that affects servers as well. So if the server restarts, you know, needs an update, it crashes or whatever, that'll drop. There's nothing here about an alpha, a beta or a gamma, so I think that Titan, the Forest Titan, I think it's a bit deceptive. I think it's a bit deceptive, that name. I'm seriously wondering if it really matters. If you're on a server, it probably does, because however much health this thing has got, or any of the Titans have got, once you've tamed them, as long as the server's running and you haven't lost that 5-day window, then it'll heal up to maximum health, and that's how much health you've got on it. Whereas for someone like me on a single player game, it really doesn't matter. As soon as I restart this game, it's all for nothing. So the whole idea of alpha, beta, gamma, I think it might be a bit of a mistake, because only the Forest Titan makes mention of it. But from what I understand now, I think there is a case where, you know, you want to do as little damage as you possibly can to these things. So I'm just going to restart the game, and I'll bring you back to show you how much health this thing's going to have once we've restarted the game. Yep, sure enough, max health levels capped. Yeah, I mean the food's going down, so yeah, I guess that's what happens when you've got... I don't know, that's not good. Are you attacking my Quetzals? I don't want you attacking my Quetzals. Come here. So there you go, that's what the left key does, by the way. But yeah, I mean, on a single player, or if you're on a server and the server gets restarted, your health levels are going to get capped. But in terms of what this beastie can do, I mean, left click, as you saw there, it basically does a bite, and it does quite a lot of damage. If I use the right mouse button, I'm holding it down while I'm moving the mouse, and that gives me the option to target areas, and it releases lightning. I can release 6 lightning strikes in a row, and then I'm on a countdown, and I can keep on doing that until the next one, you know, the meter fills up. What else can we do? So that's what the right mouse button does. If I press the space bar, it'll release a load of flock if I press it again, they'll all go back inside. So once they're out, if I press the C bar, I get like a targeting option. I think they seem like quite aggressive. For sometimes they'll just attack anything, but there is an option to, with this crosshair where I can specifically target something. I just, hover the targeting icon there over the hover the crosshairs over the target, press the left mouse button, and then they'll go after it. So that's quite useful. So it's got quite a few attacks. So right, you all going to get back on board? Right. So in terms of the strategy, I think for me this has been the easiest strategy and the best strategy. So if I was going to tame this thing up again, that's what I'll do. You want decent level Quetzals for a start. I mean, if you're going to do like a complete playthrough where you're going to start on the island, you could tame them while you're there. Gives you plenty of time to get decent level saddles for them as well. So I think that's probably the easiest way to do it. If on the other hand you're just doing just doing Extinction from scratch, there are Quetzals out there, so you could go out there with some looking for Quetzals, because there's so few of them, you should be able to just clear out low level ones, and then at some point high level ones will spawn. So you just want a couple of decent high level ones to breed. What I did with these ones is I got 4 mutations in health. I then got them fully imprinted, leveled them up, and I put all of the health, everything into health. So it's a case of they've got plenty of health, and that's all that matters. Because for me, the strategy is basically just take your Quetzal up to the, up to a node, land on that node. Because if you land on it, it seems to go a lot better. I think you get less 174. You'll get less trouble from the flock. I think they still target you, but it's less likely that you get knocked off. I haven't checked the stats, but that's what it feels like to me. I mean, you can still get knocked off by the tail. Once you've taken out that first node, the tail swipes begin. Sometimes you'll get knocked away, sometimes you'll just get some damage, but I think there's a real incentive there, based on what I've experienced, to just land on the node and stay there. If it does a barrel roll, if it knocks you with its tail, your Quetzal will get a bit confused because it thinks it's landed on something and it'll start to fall to the ground. If you then get knocked off your Quetzal, make sure you get back to it quickly, because the trouble is it'll fall to the ground and it'll take fall damage. So it's just something to bear in mind. Quetzals, I mean, there are other strategies. I mean, if you're good with the tech armor, I mean, by all means, go up there and try and take it on just by yourself. Land on it with your tech armor. Try shooting it up. But the only thing to bear in mind, what I experienced is I died a lot. I mean, I'm all fingers and thumbs, so I'm not very good with the tech armor. But one of the problems I found was that sometimes my body would literally be stuck in the air and I couldn't get it back. I couldn't retrieve the items. I mean, I could go back up there with more tech armor, but the problem is then you've got this problem where you get targeted by the lightning, and I just had to keep getting out of the way. I couldn't get to my bag quickly enough to be able to get my items back without getting killed again. And so unless you're basically going to fall to the ground, which incidentally, while I've been doing it with these Quetzals, I've always landed on the ground, so it's been pretty easy to just go back out there, get the Quetzal, get my things back, then come back here, put my armor back out on, and then go back to, back out with the Quetzal. The only thing you have to remember is to put the Quetzal back on follow, to make sure it follows you, because if you get knocked off and you have to get away, you want to make sure the Quetzal does follow you. Oddly enough, for some reason, the Snow Owl and the the Tapejara, whenever I got knocked off them, they kind of like stayed there, even though they were on follow. Most of the time they actually stayed where they were. Interestingly enough, I found the Quetzal will actually follow you and it'll stay where your body dies, which is very, very useful. Other things to bear in mind is, yeah, I mean, there is that annoyance from the flock, and sometimes they can damage you. They didn't do that on the first go, but this time they did, so that's why I've got the medical brews though, and I keep a lot of spares in a refrigerator in there. Plenty of beds to keep me going, plenty of armor just in case I can't recover my body. Other than that, it's just a pretty straightforward tactic. You've just got to be a bit patient, because what I've found is that if I get struck by lightning, it's best I just get rid of it, move out of the area. If I try to get back on the Quetzal and the Quetzal's got lightning, just stay away from it. Usually by the time I've gone back to the Quetzal, I get struck by lightning. I just haven't got on quickly in time and I get struck. If you're on the actual Quetzal, a lightning strike doesn't harm you, but if you get struck by lightning yourself, that's it. Yeah, it's game over. But it's to me, it's a fairly easy Titan to tame. It just takes a bit of patience, that's all. But the strategy does work. I mean, I'm pleased with it. I've seen people like write it off because of the flock, but I thought I'd give it a try, and I'm really pleased I did, because it's made my life a heck of a lot easier, because now I'm going to be able to go on and take on the Beta King Titan with all 3 of these sub-Titans. So I do hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If so, then do please leave a like, especially if it's given you some pointers yourself. If you're new to the channel and you'd like to see more content, then yeah, do subscribe. Just remember to tick that little bell icon, because that way you'll get notifications for when new content comes out. If you've got any comments, any suggestions, any feedback at all, I mean, if you can think of a better strategy yourself, to tame the Desert Titan, please post that in the comments section below. I mean, the one thing to point out, there is a method where you can put foundations on these saddles, these platform saddles, to kind of protect yourselves from the flock. I mean, that's entirely up to you. Personally, I didn't want to do that. I think it makes it too easy. It breaks one of the key mechanics. It was the very reason they put that flock there and got them to knock you off, was to make it harder. And I wanted a challenge. And the main reason I've actually got an actual platform saddle is just so it gives me more like area to cover, when I've got to get back on it again. But anyway, until the next video, thanks very much for watching. Bye!